The alarms blared across the small colony of New Haven. Kate Morgan grabbed her 8-year-old son Daniel's hand and ran. Her other hand rested on her swollen belly. 6 months pregnant and running for her life was not how she had planned to spend her day. "Mom, they're coming from the east side too," Daniel said, his eyes wide with fear. Kate looked in that direction and saw the gleaming silver uniforms of the Galactic Empire soldiers. They were surrounded. The black ships of the Empire blocked out the twin suns overhead as they descended on the peaceful farming colony. "Stay close to me," Kate whispered. She pulled Daniel into an empty storage shed as Empire troops marched past. Her heart raced, but she forced herself to remain calm. Stress wasn't good for the baby. "Are they looking for Dad?" Daniel asked. Kate put a finger to her lips. "We don't talk about that, remember? Not when others might hear." Daniel nodded. He understood the danger, even at his young age. Kate peeked through a crack in the wall. Soldiers were rounding up colonists in the main square. Standard procedure during an Empire raid. They would take some for questioning, others for labor camps, and then leave, usually. "We need to join the others," Kate said. "If we're found hiding, it will be worse." They slipped out and tried to blend in with the crowd of frightened colonists. Kate kept her head down, one arm around Daniel, the other protecting her unborn child. A scanner-equipped soldier walked down the line of colonists, checking for weapons or contraband. When he reached Kate, the scanner made an unusual sound. The soldier frowned and scanned her again. "Step forward," he ordered. Kate moved forward, keeping Daniel close. "The child, too," the soldier said. The scanner beeped again when it passed over Daniel. The soldier called over his superior, a tall officer with pale blue skin and narrow eyes. A Regalian, one of the Empire's ruling species. "Commander Vexthar, we have anomalous readings on this human female and child." The commander's cold eyes studied Kate. "Interesting. She is with child as well." He waved his own scanner over Kate's belly. His eyebrows rose. "Very interesting indeed. Separate them from the others." "My son stays with me," Kate said firmly. Commander Vexthar smiled, revealing pointed teeth. "Of course. For now." They were taken to a small building that had been converted into a temporary command post. While the other colonists were processed outside, Kate and Daniel were questioned separately. "Your name?" a female officer asked Kate. "Catherine Morgan." "The father of your children?" Kate hesitated. "My husband died in the mining accident last year." The officer looked at her scanner. "This says otherwise. These readings suggest non-human genetic markers in your unborn child. Similar patterns in the boy." Kate said nothing. She knew what they had found. The genetic signature of Daniel's father, of both her children's father. If the Empire knew who he really was, they would never let her or her children go. "Take her to the ship," Commander Vexthar ordered as he entered the room. "The boy, too. High Command will be most interested in this discovery." Kate was reunited with Daniel as they were escorted to the largest Empire ship. Daniel squeezed her hand. "It's okay, Mom," he whispered, showing bravery beyond his years. Kate forced a smile. "We'll be fine." As they boarded the ship, Kate noticed they were the only colonists being taken. The others were being left behind after processing. This confirmed her worst fears. The Empire had detected something in her children that interested them. The massive doors of the Imperial cruiser closed behind them. Through a viewport, Kate watched New Haven, their home for the past 3 years, grow smaller as the ship ascended. "Where are they taking us?" Daniel asked. "I don't know," Kate said. She placed a protective hand on her belly, feeling the baby kick as if in protest. "But we'll stay together. That's what matters." Commander Vexthar watched them from across the holding cell. "Set course for the Central Research Facility," he ordered his pilot. "We have found something that may advance my career significantly." The ship jumped to light speed, carrying Kate, Daniel, and the secret growing inside her to the heart of the Empire. Kate woke up in a white room. The bed was not comfortable, but it was clean. She touched her belly right away. The baby was still there, still moving. She sighed with relief. "Daniel," she called out, sitting up quickly. "I'm here, Mom." Daniel sat in a chair by the window. The window showed stars passing by. They were still on the ship. 3 days had passed since they were taken from New Haven. Empire guards brought them food 3 times each day. No one told them where they were going. Kate swung her legs over the side of the bed. "Did anyone come while I was asleep?" Daniel shook his head. "Just the guard with breakfast." He pointed to trays on a small table. Kate joined her son at the table. The food was better than she expected. The Empire wanted them healthy, especially her unborn baby. That worried her. The door slid open. Commander Vexthar entered with a human woman in a white lab coat. The woman had short blonde hair and kind eyes, but Kate did not trust her. "I am Dr. Lori Adams," the woman said. "I will be studying your case when we reach the facility." "We are not cases," Kate said. "We are people." Dr. Adams smiled slightly. "Of course. Poor choice of words." Commander Vexthar stepped forward. "We arrive at the Central Research Facility today. Dr. Adams will conduct tests on you and your children. My son will not be your test subject," Kate said. The commander's face hardened. "You are not in a position to make demands." Kate stood up, despite her pregnant belly making it difficult. "You will not separate us." Dr. Adams touched the commander's arm. "Sir, keeping them together will make my work easier. The boy will be more cooperative if he stays with his mother." Vexthar considered this. "Very well. For now." After they left, Daniel moved closer to Kate. "Mom, I did something weird yesterday." Kate looked at him closely. "What do you mean?" "I got mad when the guard wouldn't tell me where we were going." Daniel looked at his hands. "I squeezed my juice cup and it broke, but not like normal breaking. It crushed like paper." Kate's heart raced. It was happening again. Daniel's abilities were growing stronger, just like his father said they would. "Listen to me carefully," Kate whispered. "You cannot let them see anything unusual. Nothing. Do you understand?" Daniel nodded. "Like when Dad was teaching me." Kate smiled sadly, remembering. "Yes, exactly like that." The ship slowed, and Kate felt the familiar sensation of docking. She looked out the window at their destination. A massive space station orbited a red planet, the Central Research Facility. Guards came to escort them off the ship. Kate held Daniel's hand tightly as they walked through long corridors. People in labs coats stopped to stare at them. Some took notes on small devices. Dr. Adams met them in a large room filled with medical equipment. "This will be your home for now," she said. "We have adjoining living quarters for you both." "What exactly do you want from us?" Kate asked. Dr. Adams glanced at the guards, then back to Kate. "Your pregnancy is unusual. The genetic markers we found are not human, yet they are not known alien species either." "My husband was human," Kate lied again. Dr. Adams smiled politely. "The Empire has very precise genetic scanning technology. We both know that's not true." Later that night, after Daniel had fallen asleep in the room next to hers, Kate stood by her own window. She looked at the stars and thought of her past. 5 years ago, she had been a pilot for the Earth Defense Force. Then she met him. The one the Empire would kill to find. The one whose children might change everything. "Where are you?" she whispered to the stars. "We need you." In his dreams, Daniel felt something. A presence, far away but familiar. In his sleep, he smiled. His father was looking for them. His father was coming. In the monitoring room, Dr. Adams watched Kate on the screen. She turned off the recording and deleted the file showing Kate talking to the stars. Some things, the doctor decided, the Empire did not need to know yet. Kate closed her eyes as the machine hummed around her pregnant belly. 2 weeks had passed in the facility. Dr. Adams ran tests every day. Today was no different. "Almost done," Dr. Adams said. She looked at the screen with a frown. The baby is developing faster than a normal human child. Kate said nothing. She knew why her baby grew quickly. She remembered when she was pregnant with Daniel. The same thing had happened. Catherine, Dr. Adams said softly, using her full name. I need to know the truth to help you. Kate laughed without humor. Help me? You work for the Empire. Dr. Adams turned off the machine and helped Kate sit up. She leaned closer and whispered, not everyone who works for the Empire believes in what it does. Before Kate could respond, the door opened. Commander Vexthar entered with 2 guards. Progress, Doctor? He asked. Dr. Adams straightened up. The fetus continues to develop normally, sir. Normally for what species? Vexthar asked with a cold smile. That remains unclear, Dr. Adams replied. The commander looked at Kate. The High Command is very interested in your case. They have ordered me to bring you to the capital planet. Kate felt cold fear. The capital meant the Emperor might see her personally. When? 1 week, Vexthar said. Prepare yourself and the boy. After he left, Kate turned to Dr. Adams. The capital is a death sentence for us. Dr. Adams nodded sadly. I know. That night, Kate dreamed of the past, of how she met him. 5 years ago, her ship crashed on a remote planet during a storm. She was injured and lost. Then she saw him. Tall, with skin that seemed to shine with a faint blue light, eyes that changed color with his mood. He was not human, but he was beautiful. I am Zarkel, he had said, helping her up. Kate, she replied. For 3 months, she lived with him while repairing her ship. She learned he was a Viridian, an ancient race the Empire had tried to wipe out centuries ago. The Viridians fought back and disappeared. The Empire thought they were extinct. But they were not gone. They were hiding, waiting, growing stronger. Kate fell in love with Zarkel. When her ship was fixed, she chose to stay. A year later, Daniel was born, a human Viridian child with special abilities. Kate woke from her dream with tears on her face. In the dim light of her room, she saw Dr. Adams sitting in a chair. How did you get in? Kate asked, sitting up quickly. I have access to all rooms, Dr. Adams said. She held up a small device, but the cameras see nothing right now. Kate felt fear and hope at the same time. What do you want? To help you. Dr. Adams moved closer. I know what your child is. I found Viridian DNA markers. Kate's mouth fell open. How do you know about Viridians? The Empire erased them from history. Not all history, Dr. Adams said. She rolled up her sleeve. On her arm was a small tattoo, a symbol Kate recognized. It was the same symbol Zarkel had on his chest. You're with the Resistance, Kate whispered. Dr. Adams nodded. We need to get you out before the transfer to the capital. Why help us? Kate asked. The Viridians were peaceful until the Empire attacked them. They are our best hope against Imperial rule. Dr. Adams looked at Kate's belly. And a human Viridian child is special. There is a prophecy. A prophecy. Kate had never heard Zarkel mention any prophecy. Before Dr. Adams could explain, Daniel ran into the room. His eyes were wide. Mom, I saw Dad, he said excitedly. In my dream, but it wasn't a dream. He's coming for us. Dr. Adams looked alarmed. Has he done this before? Connected with his father? Kate nodded slowly. Viridian children can sometimes reach their parents telepathically, but never this far before. Then we have no time to lose, Dr. Adams said. If your son can reach his father, then Commander Vexthar might detect the energy signature. We need to move up our plan. Outside in the corridor, Commander Vexthar stood perfectly still. He had heard everything. The next day, Dr. Adams did not come for the usual tests. Kate grew worried. She tried to stay calm for Daniel, but inside she felt fear. Something's wrong, Kate said softly as they ate lunch in their room. Dr. Adams should have been here hours ago. Daniel looked up from his food. Maybe she's busy. Before Kate could answer, the door slid open. Two guards entered, followed by Commander Vexthar. His thin lips curved into a smile that made Kate's skin crawl. "Change of plans," he said. "We leave for the capital today." Now, Kate stood up. "But you said we had a week." "Plans change when people lie." Vexthar stepped closer. "Where is Dr. Adams?" Kate tried to look confused. "Isn't she in her lab?" The commander's eyes narrowed. "Dr. Adams has been arrested for treason. She was planning to help you escape." Kate's heart sank. Dr. Adams had been their only hope. "Get the boy," Vexthar ordered the guards. "Prepare them both for immediate transport." One guard took Daniel's arm. Kate reached for her son, but the other guard held her back. "Mom," Daniel cried out. His eyes flashed with a strange blue light. "Daniel, stay calm," Kate said firmly. She knew what would happen if Daniel lost control of his abilities. "Everything will be okay." The guards led them through the facility to the docking bay. Kate saw Dr. Adams there, her hands bound, her face bruised. Their eyes met briefly. Commander Vexthar pointed to a small Imperial shuttle. "Board now." As they walked toward the shuttle, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed everywhere. "Security breach in Section 7. A voice announced over the speakers. "All personnel to battle stations." The guards looked around in confusion. Commander Vexthar grabbed his communication device. "Report." In the moment of distraction, Dr. Adams moved. Despite her bound hands, she knocked down one guard and grabbed his weapon. She fired at the second guard before he could react. "Run," she shouted to Kate and Daniel. "Escape pod bay is one level down." Commander Vexthar drew his weapon, but Kate was faster. She pushed Daniel behind her and grabbed a fallen guard's stun baton. She swung it at Vexthar, hitting his arm. His weapon clattered to the floor. "Go," Dr. Adams yelled as more guards appeared at the far end of the docking bay. Kate grabbed Daniel's hand, and they ran. Behind them, they heard weapons fire. Kate didn't look back. She pulled Daniel into a service corridor and down an emergency ladder to the level below. "The escape pods should be this way," Kate said, breathing hard. Her pregnancy made running difficult. They turned a corner and found the escape pod bay. Small one-person pods lined the wall. "These are too small for both of us," Kate said, her heart sinking. Daniel looked at the pods, then at his mother's pregnant belly. "You go first. I'll take the next one." Kate shook her head. "I'm not leaving you." More alarms sounded. They could hear boots on metal floors. Guards were coming. "Mom," Daniel said, his voice suddenly older than his 8 years. "You're carrying my sister. You have to protect her." Kate stared at her son. "Sister, how do you know it's a girl?" Daniel's eyes glowed faintly blue. "I can feel her. She's strong, like Dad. You both need to get away." Tears filled Kate's eyes. She knew Daniel was right, but she couldn't bear to leave him. The decision was taken from her when Commander Vexthar appeared at the end of the corridor. "There they are." Daniel pushed his mother toward an escape pod. "Go." Dr. Adams appeared behind Vexthar, still fighting despite her injuries. She tackled him, buying them seconds. Daniel hit the pod launch button. The door began to close with Kate inside. "Daniel," Kate screamed, reaching out. "I'll find you," Daniel promised. His eyes glowed brighter. "We both will." The pod launched, shooting away from the station. The last thing Kate saw was Daniel dodging the guard's grasp, his small hand raised. Objects in the corridor flew at the guards as if thrown by an invisible force. Kate's pod tumbled through space, away from her son, but carrying her unborn daughter to safety. Tears floated in small drops around her in the zero gravity of the escape pod. "I'll come back for you," she whispered. "I promise." Daniel woke up in a small room with metal walls. His head hurt. The last thing he remembered was fighting the guards after his mom escaped in the pod. He had used his powers too much. Then everything went black. He sat up slowly and looked around. This wasn't an Empire room. Empire rooms were always white and clean. This room had boxes and tools. The bed was soft with colorful blankets. The door slid open. A woman walked in. She had short red hair and wore a dark blue uniform with no Empire symbols. "You're awake," she said with a smile. "How do you feel?" Daniel didn't answer. His dad always told him not to trust strangers. The woman sat on a chair near the bed. "My name is Samantha Green. You can call me Sam. You're on my ship, the Defiance." "Where's my mom?" Daniel asked. Sam's smile faded. "We don't know yet. We picked up your escape pod signal. But there was only you inside." Daniel shook his head. "No, that's wrong. I put my mom in the pod. I stayed behind." Sam looked confused. "When we found the pod, you were alone inside, unconscious." Daniel closed his eyes. He remembered now. After his mom's pod launched, he had fought the guards. Commander Vexthar had caught him. Then there was another alarm. People in masks attacked the station. In the chaos, Daniel had escaped to another pod. "There were 2 pods," he said. "Mom went in one. I went in another later." Sam nodded slowly. "That makes sense. We're still looking for other pods." She paused. "Daniel, the Empire has your mother, doesn't it?" Daniel nodded, tears in his eyes. "They want to study us because we're different." "Different how?" Sam asked gently. Daniel looked at his hands. Should he tell her? His mom always said to keep their secret, but this woman had saved him. Maybe she could help save his mom too. He made a decision. Daniel concentrated on a cup of water on the table. It rose slowly into the air. Sam's eyes widened. "You're telekinetic." "My dad is a Viridian," Daniel said. The cup settled back on the table. "Mom is human. I'm both." Sam stood up quickly. "A Viridian? That's impossible. They've been extinct for centuries." "No," Daniel said. "They're hiding. My dad is looking for us. I can feel him." Sam stared at Daniel for a long moment. Then she pressed a button on her wrist. "Captain to bridge. Call an emergency meeting. Now." Later, Daniel sat in a large room with Sam and 5 other people. They all wore the same blue uniforms. They looked at Daniel with wonder and disbelief. "A human Viridian hybrid," one old man said, shaking his head. "I never thought I'd see such a thing." "My sister is like me too," Daniel said. "She's still inside my mom." A woman with gray hair leaned forward. "You have a sister. How do you know?" "I can feel her," Daniel said. "We can talk without words." The people at the table looked at each other. "The prophecy," the gray-haired woman whispered. Sam turned to her. "What prophecy, Maya?" Maya pulled out an old tablet. When the Empire destroyed the Viridian homeworld, a few texts were saved. One speaks of children born of 2 worlds who would bring down the Empire. She showed them the tablet. Daniel couldn't read the strange symbols. "What does it say?" he asked. Maya looked at him. "It says, the children of 2 stars will shine brighter than all others. Their light will blind the darkness and break the chains of 1,000 worlds." The room was quiet. Everyone looked at Daniel. "You believe on one of these children?" he asked. "Are you?" Sam asked. Daniel didn't know. He just wanted his family back together. He closed his eyes and reached out with his mind. Far away, he felt his sister respond. And beyond her, fainter but growing stronger, was his father. "My dad is coming," Daniel said, opening his eyes. "And he's bringing others." On the other side of the galaxy, Kate sat in a cell on the Emperor's personal ship. Her hands rested on her belly, feeling her daughter kick. She didn't know where Daniel was, if he was even alive. But deep inside, she felt hope. Something was changing in the galaxy, and her children were at the center of it all. 3 days passed on the Defiance. Daniel spent most of his time in the ship's observation deck, looking at the stars. He was waiting. though he didn't tell the others exactly what for. Sam found him there on the fourth day. "Any luck reaching your father?" she asked. Daniel had told her about his telepathic abilities. She didn't fully understand, but she believed him. "He's closer now," Daniel said. "I can feel him better." Sam sat beside him. "The Empire is searching for us. We can't stay in this sector much longer." Daniel looked at her with serious eyes. "Just one more day, please." Sam nodded. "One more day." That night, while everyone slept, Daniel felt a sudden spark in his mind. He sat up in bed, his heart racing. The connection was stronger than ever before. "Dad?" he whispered into the darkness. A warm feeling washed over him, a feeling of love and relief. Daniel closed his eyes and focused on sending images. His mother, the Empire facility, the escape, Sam, and the Defiance. In return, he received an image, a fleet of ships unlike any he had seen before, beautiful vessels that seemed to glow with their own light. They were coming. Daniel ran to Sam's quarters and knocked loudly. Sam opened the door, her hair messy from sleep. "What's wrong?" "They're coming," Daniel said excitedly. "My father's fleet." Sam looked confused, but she followed Daniel to the bridge. The night crew looked up in surprise as they entered. "Scan for approaching vessels," Sam ordered. "Nothing on scanners, Captain," a young man replied. Daniel shook his head. "You won't see them, not until they want to be seen." As if on cue, the ship's alarm sounded. The young man at the scanner looked shocked. "Captain, multiple ships just appeared. They came out of nowhere." Sam looked at the screen. 7 large ships had appeared around the Defiance. They were unlike any ship she had seen before. Their hulls shimmered with a blue-silver light. No visible weapons, but somehow Sam knew they were powerful. "Open communication channels," Sam ordered. Before the officer could comply, a voice filled the bridge. "This is Zarkel of the Viridian Fleet. We come in peace. My son is aboard your vessel." Daniel smiled widely. "Dad." Sam looked at Daniel, then at the screen showing the magnificent ships. "The Viridians truly do exist," she whispered. Hours later, Daniel stood in the Defiance's docking bay. A small shuttle from the main Viridian ship had just landed. The door opened, and a tall figure stepped out. Zarkel was impressive, nearly 7 feet tall with broad shoulders. His skin had a faint blue glow. His eyes shifted colors like moving water. He wore simple clothes but carried himself like a king. Daniel ran forward. Zarkel knelt down and embraced his son. "I found you," Zarkel said, his voice deep and musical. "Dad," Daniel said, fighting tears. "They took Mom. She's pregnant with my sister." Zarkel's eyes flashed a dark purple, anger. "I know. I have felt both their presences." Sam approached cautiously. Zarkel stood and looked down at her. "You protected my son," he said. "The Viridian people thank you." Sam bowed slightly. "We didn't know Viridians still existed. The Empire told everyone they were extinct." "The Empire has told many lies," Zarkel said. "We retreated to the outer reaches of the galaxy after the Great War. We have been rebuilding, waiting for the right time to return." "And now is that time?" Sam asked. Zarkel looked at Daniel. "My son and unborn daughter are in danger. Yes, now is the time." Later, on the bridge of the main Viridian ship, Zarkel showed them a star map. His ship was amazing. Technology far beyond anything the Resistance or even the Empire possessed. "Catherine is here," he said, pointing to a blinking light. "On the Emperor's personal vessel. They are taking her to the Imperial capital." "How do you know?" Maya asked. "Viridians can sense those they are bonded with across great distances," Zarkel explained. "The connection is stronger with family." "The Emperor's ship is the most heavily guarded vessel in the galaxy," Sam said. "We can't just attack it." Zarkel's eyes shifted to a deep, determined blue. "We must. The Empire scientists have found a way to accelerate Kate's pregnancy. They want my daughter born early so they can study her. Daniel gasped. They can't do that. It could hurt Mom and the baby. Exactly why we must act now, Zarkel said. He looked at Sam. Will your resistance join us? Sam looked around at her crew, then back at the impressive Viridian. We will. Daniel felt a strange feeling in his chest. Fear, but also something else. Something powerful. His sister was trying to communicate with him. She was afraid. Dad, Daniel said urgently. We need to hurry. Kate lay on the medical table, her belly now much larger than it should be. The Empire scientists had used their technology to speed up her pregnancy. What should have taken 3 more months had happened in just 2 weeks. The child will be ready for birth within hours, said a cold voice. The Emperor's chief scientist stood nearby, watching monitors that showed the baby inside her. Kate turned her head away. She tried to stay strong, but fear filled her heart. Where was Daniel? Where was Zarkel? She had tried reaching out with her mind, but she wasn't Viridian. She didn't have their mental powers. The door slid open. Commander Vexthar entered with several guards. The Emperor is arriving shortly, he announced. He wishes to witness the birth personally. The scientist bowed. We are honored. Kate closed her eyes. If the Emperor himself was coming, there was truly no hope. Suddenly, pain shot through her body. A contraction. The baby was coming, ready or not. It's starting, the scientist said with excitement. Miles away, the combined fleet of Viridian ships and resistance vessels dropped out of light speed. 7 Viridian ships glowed with blue-silver light. 12 smaller resistance ships surrounded them. On the bridge of the Lid Viridian ship, Zarkel stood with Sam and Daniel. The Emperor's ship is ahead, Sam said, looking at the scanner, along with 30 Imperial cruisers. Zarkel nodded. We expected heavy defenses. He looked at his son. Daniel, can you feel your mother and sister? Daniel closed his eyes. His face tightened with concentration. Mom is in pain. The baby is coming. Zarkel's eyes flashed red with alarm. We must hurry. He turned to his crew. Begin the approach. Activate the shields. The Viridian ships moved forward. As they approached, the Imperial fleet began to fire. Red beams of energy shot toward them. The beams hit the Viridian shields but did no damage. The shields shimmered but held strong. Their weapons cannot harm our ships, Zarkel explained to Sam. Viridian technology is far beyond theirs. The Viridian ships didn't fire back. Instead, they simply pushed forward, absorbing the attacks. The resistance ships stayed behind, protected by the Viridian shields. When we reach the Emperor's ship, I will lead a team to find Kate, Zarkel said. The resistance forces will create a distraction. Daniel stepped forward. I'm coming too. Zarkel looked down at his son. It will be dangerous. I can find Mom faster than anyone, Daniel said. I can feel exactly where she is. Zarkel nodded. Very well. On the Emperor's ship, alarms sounded. Kate heard shouting in the corridor outside. The scientist looked at the monitor. We're under attack, he exclaimed. Commander Vexthar drew his weapon. Who would dare attack the Emperor's ship? A guard burst into the room. Sir, unknown vessels have broken through our defenses. Boarding parties are entering the ship. Vexthar's face showed real fear for the first time. Seal all doors. Protect the medical lab at all costs. Meanwhile, Zarkel, Daniel, and a team of Viridian warriors moved through the corridors of the Emperor's ship. The Viridians were impressive fighters. They moved with incredible speed and strength, easily overcoming the Imperial guards. Daniel led the way. Mom is this way, he said, pointing down a corridor. As they turned a corner, they faced 20 Imperial guards blocking a large door. That's where Mom is, Daniel said. Zarkel stepped forward. His eyes glowed bright blue. He raised his hands, and a wave of energy shot forward. The guards flew backward as if hit by a powerful wind. They fell unconscious to the floor. Viridian mental energy. Zarkil explained to Daniel, "Something you will learn to control as you grow." They approached the door. It was sealed tight. Zarkil placed his hand on it, and the metal began to glow red. In seconds, the door melted away. Inside, they found Kate on the medical table. Her face was red with pain and effort. Commander Vexthar stood beside her, his weapon pointed at her head. "Stay back," he shouted. "One more step, and she dies." Behind him stood an older man in elaborate robes. His eyes were cold and calculating. The Emperor himself. "So," the Emperor said, "the Viridians have returned." Zarkil's eyes narrowed. "Release my mate and my children." The Emperor smiled. "Your children are the key to everything. The prophecy must not come to pass." Daniel stepped forward, his eyes beginning to glow like his father's. "Let my mother go." Kate cried out in pain. The baby was coming now, ready or not. Time seemed to freeze in the medical room. Kate's cry of pain broke the silence. The baby was coming now. "It's too late to stop this," the Emperor said. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed fear. "The second child will be born, and the prophecy will begin." Commander Vexthar kept his weapon pointed at Kate's head. "Orders, Your Majesty." The Emperor looked at Zarkil and Daniel. "Kill them all. The mother, the children, and the Viridian." Vexthar smiled and aimed his weapon. But before he could fire, Daniel raised his small hand. The weapon flew from Vexthar's grip and across the room. Zarkil moved with incredible speed. In a blur of motion, he grabbed Vexthar and threw him against the wall. The commander slumped to the floor, unconscious. The Emperor backed away. He pulled out a small device from his robes. "If the children cannot be mine to control, they cannot live at all." His finger moved toward a button. Daniel cried out. The device flew from the Emperor's hand and smashed into pieces against the wall. Kate screamed again. This time, Zarkil rushed to her side. "The baby is coming," she gasped, reaching for his hand. Zarkil turned to the scientist who cowered in the corner. "Help her. Now." The scientist hurried over, his hands shaking. Daniel joined his parents. "Mom, we came for you." Kate smiled through her pain. "I knew you would." Outside the medical room, the battle continued. Sam and the resistance fighters held off Imperial troops. The Viridian ships kept the Imperial fleet busy, but they couldn't hold forever. In the medical room, Kate pushed one final time. A cry filled the air, the cry of a newborn baby. "A girl," the scientist said, holding up the infant. The baby girl had skin with a faint blue glow, just like her father's. Her eyes, when they opened briefly, changed colors from blue to green to purple. The Emperor, who had been forgotten in the moment, suddenly lunged forward. He grabbed a surgical tool from a nearby table and moved toward the baby. "The prophecy ends here," he shouted. Daniel and Zarkil both moved to stop him, but something else happened first. The newborn baby girl began to glow with bright light. Daniel felt a surge of energy within himself too. Without thinking, he reached out and took his sister's tiny hand. A wave of energy burst from the two children. It spread outward in a circle of blue-white light. The Emperor was thrown backward. Every piece of Imperial technology in the room sparked and died. Throughout the ship, then the entire Imperial fleet, systems failed. Weapons stopped working. Engines shut down. Even the artificial gravity flickered. But the Viridian ships and technology remained working perfectly. "What's happening?" Kate asked, holding her daughter close. Zarkil looked at his two children with wonder. "The prophecy. The children of two worlds shall unmake the chains of 1,000 stars. They can disable Imperial technology." The Emperor struggled to his feet. His fine robes were torn, and for the first time, he looked old and afraid. "You cannot defeat an entire empire," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. "We don't need to defeat the entire empire today," Zarkil replied. "Just you." Sam and several resistance fighters entered the room. They had easily overcome the Imperial guards whose weapons no longer worked. "The ship is ours," Sam announced. "The Imperial fleet is disabled." Zarkel picked up Daniel while Kate held their newborn daughter. "What will you name her?" Daniel asked his mother. Kate looked at Zarkel, then at her daughter, whose eyes continued to shift through beautiful colors. "Ileana," she said. "It means my God has answered in an old Earth language." Zarkel nodded. "A perfect name." The Emperor was taken prisoner. Commander Vexthar too. As news spread throughout the galaxy that the Emperor's fleet had been defeated by returning Viridians, other systems began to rebel. 1 month later, Kate stood on the observation deck of Zarkel's ship. Daniel played with baby Ileana nearby, teaching her to float small toys with her growing powers. Zarkel joined Kate by the window. "The Resistance reports that 3 more star systems have declared independence from the Empire." Kate smiled. "It's just the beginning, isn't it?" "Yes," Zarkel said, looking at his children. "The prophecy said our children would unmake the chains of 1,000 stars. That work has just begun." Kate leaned against her partner, watching their children. The Empire had captured a pregnant woman and her son. They hadn't known who her partner was. That mistake had begun the Empire's end, and a new beginning for the galaxy.